Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Modern Life. This is Sam, joined today by Tabby.
Hello.
Hello. We're going to talk about a game called Insides. Came out a couple years ago. Do you have the date over there?
2017.
2017, 1 year ago. Made by Playdead, same people that made Limbo. That's going to be our main topic today, so let's get going.
For our theme music, can we just have silence? Like the game?
I think this should be our theme music.
This is it?
Yeah, this is it. Wow. Amazing. As always, we're going to start off with some serious Modern Life jibber jabber. Modern Life thoughts. You go first.
Okay.
I always go first.
I have just been working a lot, so my life has been really boring.
Oh, you've been working. Tubby's been working doubles like crazy.
All I've done is read Persuasion a third time and rewatch all the movies on the show. So my modern thought is actually a correction that I have from a previous podcast.
Oh my God!
This
Get
is-
your facts straight.
This is from Sense and Sensibility podcast, where Stacey and I had said there's two characters in there, Brandon and Willoughby, and there's a dueling scene between them. And we had said that wasn't in the book. And I found out that we have poor reading comprehension. So in the quote from the book is, Eleanor asks Brandon, have you seen him? Have you seen Willoughby since then? And he says, yes, gravely. Once I have. One meeting was unavoidable. And I could meet him no other way. And to people at the time, that would have been very clear that a duel, that meant that they had a duel. And this happens to me a lot with pregnancies.
Unreal.
Because in these old-timey books, it'll just say, like, in her condition or in her state, because they can't talk about people being pregnant. And then I'm like, oh, where are these
That's a
babies
thing?
popping out from?
Wait, you
But
can't talk about people being pregnant?
No, they wouldn't use that word. Or
Huh. Weird.
The one I finally caught on to is the confinement one, but I still sometimes miss some of them. Like when people are in their confinement, it means they're in their last stages of pregnancy, because women wouldn't leave the house.
Huh. Weird. That's why I don't read old books.
But yeah, that was. I mean, it'll keep happening. We'll keep getting things wrong, and that's just the nature of learning in life, of modern life.
Can they talk about the consumption? The consumption was taking
Yeah, they
her
could talk
over.
about illness, but not
But
procreation.
not pregnancy, huh?
No.
It's dirty, filthy
Well, like
women
in
pumping out babies.
Exactly. What is that show? The Lucy, I Love Lucy show.
I Love Lucy, yeah.
Where she was pregnant. They couldn't say that either. They kept saying she's with child, or like,
She's with child.
or something like that.
She's with man, and they have child. I didn't know that. Well, aren't we all learning something today? My modern thought is about China.
Because of this game?
What?
Because I have notes about China with this game.
It actually ties in weirdly nice with this game, which I
Strange.
didn't even mean to do.
Strange,
This is
okay.
just I read up on these things. I'm not obsessed with China, but I'm just very curious about what they're doing over there and the surveillance state that they are in. And I was-
Also, because we've kind of already been there, you know.
yeah,
And
exactly.
we know.
It's like
yeah.
that was another thing I was gonna get to. It's just like, I'm no history buff, but I don't know that the surveillance thing always works out so great. But they're doing this new. There's 10 schools now in China, and there's obviously going to be more in the future. But they make these kids wear these special uniforms, and the uniforms have 2 microchips in them, and like you enter the school and it'll like there's a camera that matches your face to the microchip in your uniform, and so they like know when you're skipping school. There's also like a little voice alarm, so if you were to skip school, your uniform would just tell everyone around you that you're like a terrible person, basically, right? So it's really weird, and they're
Can't you just take it off and then go about your life, or?
but
Is
then
it
you wouldn't be
attached to
wearing
your
any
body?
clothes. I don't know. yeah, they're called intelligent uniforms, and it sends all this data, to the teachers and the parents. They like know exactly what time you make it on school, and I don't know. It's just really there was something else to the
But
uniform.
aren't teachers recording that right now already? Like if you skip school, they make. How is that different than?
Because it's just like an extra level of control. I don't.
But I feel like people are doing that here too, where they track their kids to their phones, or
Yeah,
like you
for
have to
sure.
have that on all the time. And
Yeah.
it's just this weird paranoia about where are my kids, my children.
Yeah, no, it is. But I don't know, just to like microchip your kid's uniform. I don't know. I just don't. And with all the other stuff China does, I just don't see that. This is like the beginning of it, Like God knows
Yeah.
what else they're gonna add to it. But yeah, it's just I don't know. It's weird. They do weird stuff over there. Just it's like East Germany up in there, man. It's like East German wet dream. That's what China is.
Yeah, and if I realize that not everyone is familiar with the politics of East Germany listening to this, but if you want to check out a really excellent movie, it's called The Lives of Others. It has some just
It
superior
won an Oscar, didn't it?
performances. I don't think it
Not-
did.
Are you sure?
I think it was not.
No, I think it won like best foreign or whatever.
But yeah, that kind of documents that very nicely, and what goes on there, how you can't trust anyone.
Yeah, it's just to sum it up, the article goes, each uniform has two chips that indicate when a student is entering or exiting school grounds and automatically sends that data to both parents and teachers. I'm just saying, like, that's just the beginning of it. And it's just, the article goes into how it uses East Germany as an example and how the surveillance, they studied the mental impact that the surveillance had on people in East Germany, and just how it makes you really fearful and paranoid and anxiety. And I just, with everything else that China's doing, I think they're screwed in the long term. It's just really weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I find it absolutely interesting. It's just like happening right in front of our eyes, and nobody seems to think it's a big deal. I don't know. But then you also have stories here, like there was some company in Wisconsin that started putting microchips in their workers so you can like clock, you just swipe your hand over this thing and you can clock in, or you can use the vending machine. And people like volunteer to do that. They were like, hey, we're going to start this new program. Like, who wants microchips in their body? And there was like a handful of workers who were like, I'll try it. And it's just like, why would you want like a corporation to like be able to track you with a mic?
You don't
it's
know
just
the circumstances, and if these people are afraid of losing their
Dude,
jobs,
it's
and they
just-
need that job, and
I just see it like, yeah, it is like it's coming over here too, and you can track. I know like all of Stacy's our kids, I can track their grades every day, like all in real time. I can like see how much time they spent because it's all on the computer now. Everything's tracked. I don't know. We have like a really mild version of it here, but I think it's only gonna get worse. I don't know. I don't want to end up like China, okay? But yeah, speaking of weird stuff, spoilers ahead. We're gonna talk about Inside, which is a weird game. It actually starts off fine, but the end, which we'll get to, yeah, I don't know. IGN gave this game 10 out of 10, which never happens.
this game only has 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5.
I thought it was fine. I had a good time playing it.
So my brother played this entire game
In
in
like
one sitting.
4 or 5 hours. I just played it through. I knew it wasn't that long. I'm just
I
gonna
find
knock
this
it out.
incredible. So my brother can't read. Like after 2 lines, he'll get sleepy.
I fall asleep.
And puzzle games are like that to me. That's my
Oh,
reading.
really?
Like my brain is just kind of mush after. This one wasn't as bad because it's not that difficult. This wasn't like Yarny where was
You struggle with Yarny.
No, but this game was very easy.
I don't know. I think the puzzles keep my mind like I can just keep playing it.
going?
I don't know.
Oh, man. I just couldn't imagine being that long in that world.
It's a depressing world.
Like I took a break from that game to start up Unravel 2 and like get my mental health back. Like
Yarny. Yeah, but so you start out in the woods. I actually think the first third of the game is like really cool, especially in the
And
woods.
how it just starts. Like you
Yeah.
jump off the
Yeah,
ledge,
it
you're
just
in
starts.
the game. And immediately you feel lost. Like you get the mood of the game. When there's the truck driving away, even before the character was crouching down and hiding, I was hiding the character from the people in the truck, and that I instinctively knew that was something bad and something I had to hide from.
Right.
Is a huge credit to the game and how
Yeah.
they kind of set everything up without any.
Yeah, there's no
written
instructions,
text
there's
or-
no text, there's no one's talking, but you kind of just you get within 5 minutes you like know everything kind of that's going on. You just like know what's happening in this world. I mean, it's kind of beautifully done. And yeah, these are the did you ever play Limbo?
No,
You never did,
I watched
right?
you play it a little.
Yeah,
bit.
you watched me. I mean, I played Limbo a few years back, and I loved that game. I've been meaning to play this Inside game for a while, just because I know it's from the same studio. And I just, and I liked the art direction they had in Limbo. I liked that more, with all the shadows, and it was like really simple black and white. And I don't know, what did you think about this game? I mean, it's kind
that
of
one was a flat 2D.
yeah, you're right. It
right?
was way
'Cause
more flat.
With this one, I noticed right away, and an interview I read. Sorry, sound of paper
Oh
rustling.
my god.
I'll get to it. But that was something I noticed right away, how the camera angle was off. So in the very first level, you're running across a log. And the camera is a little offset that you're running kind of into a distance, even though it is a side scroller.
Yeah.
And there's a kind of variance of depth. It's not just from left to right.
Yeah.
And that in itself is contributes to that unsettling feeling. You know, directors do this in films. They'll kind of put the camera at an angle if they want you to feel like something's, not right.
Right.
So I don't think I'd ever seen that before in a flat side scroller, that they create
the way the
this,
angles, anxiousness,
these dimensions.
Yeah, and there is, it's not super flat. Like there's weird layers,
Distortion.
and you learn that really early on. Like I think within a couple minutes you're running away from someone in the beginning of the game, and I tripped over the log, and I was like, oh. Guess I gotta, and then I had to restart. I'm like, okay, I guess I gotta jump over that, and you kind of learn like where's the depth of the game, which I thought was interesting. But yeah, man, it's super dark, and you just couldn't. Was it just too dark for you to play like for 4 hours or what?
No, it's just a bit much.
Yeah, I don't know.
And some people enjoy that. That's all they, those are the type of movies and media they really get into. But
yeah, I mean, I just enjoyed playing the game, and I'm like, this is super dark, but I don't mind being in this world. I'm just gonna play it all the way through.
Yeah. And the 3D moving when you're pushing something, that once you're pushing against like a fridge or a box. But then the way you jump on it is kind of like from the side, or you're grabbing it from the side, or things are running towards you from the background, like the dogs or the people will move from their plane into yours. But never in a way where it feels awkward and you don't know where to go or where things are coming from, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's still, as a player, you know what you're doing.
Yeah, and I love how, I don't know, just speaking about running away from dogs and stuff, just the way it's just perfectly timed, I think, and this just adds to that whole anxiousness of the game, to where it's like the dog is chasing you, and if you jump, you have to jump off some ledge, and the dog's literally like an inch away from you. I just to time that whole thing, I don't know, it just makes you feel like you're on the edge, like constantly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I didn't even know what was gonna happen at first. And then you notice, if these people find you, they will strangle you, or these dogs will. Like it's a very violent game. I looked it up.
Yeah, it is.
As I started playing it, and just to assure myself that it's mature 17 plus.
Oh, is it?
It is. Yeah. Which
that makes sense.
This is rough for me, especially because the character is a minor. And you're watching you're watching all these horrifying things happen to him. And also the sound effects because this game has
Yeah.
really no music except for a few points. It has like
Yeah.
a one note. That was interesting. I don't know that I've ever played a game that didn't have music in it.
Which I didn't completely notice that until you brought it up as you were playing it. I was like, oh yeah, I
Really?
didn't really miss it. I don't know. I was just kind
Wow.
of, as weird as the game gets, I was like sucked into the world, and I don't know, I just didn't really, I was just like trying to survive. I'm just kind of in it, and it's kind of intense, and I'm also playing 4 hours straight, and I just didn't even, I don't know, I just didn't think it needed that much music. I don't know. So then when there is music, it has like more of an impact too, I guess. I don't know.
I wouldn't really call it music. It's more of like a held note sometimes. Like in
True.
that scene where I think when you're crashing through the water in the submersible
Mm-hmm.
and you're
Those little troll dolls are chasing you.
yeah, I think there's like that was a really cool shot because it
Mhm.
zooms out right, and all the little wood is coming down, it zooms out and
Mhm.
you're at the top of the screen
Yeah.
and then you're just in the water,
Yeah.
which I thought that was really really cool and
Troll dolls
interesting.
scared the crap out of me though.
Yeah,
You know,
'cause
the
they're
little-
like naked and
The
they
little
have
weird babies with the long hair. It's like just coming at you. I'm like, oh.
yeah. Yeah, but back to the sound effects. What I thought was interesting is how, even though they're appropriate for the action, sometimes they're also really intense. Like the guns firing at you,
Mhm.
it is the sound of like a handgun going off, even though you're just being hit with darts.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it would make that same sound. You know, if you're just
Yeah,
being hit
I
with
don't
a
know.
dart.
But yeah, and then I don't know. Did you get stuck on? You didn't get stuck on any of the puzzles. You thought it was all
No, not
super easy.
really. No.
I think the only thing that took me a while was that where you have to get everyone on the platform. It's about like halfway through the game. You have to get all these like 20 people on the platform for the doors to
19,
open.
I believe. Yeah.
19.
Yeah.
There's a couple points where it just there's like 3 levels and it's like this big thing. I'm like, oh wait, okay. I was like trying to figure out what the hell's going on. That's the one that took me the longest. Yeah, but overall it's not that hard of a game. Not at all. I did really like the after the 19 people platform thing, this giant thing with the shockwave.
Yeah.
Yeah, what the hell is it? I don't know. I just like that whole level though. I don't know. I think that might have been my favorite. But yeah, so
Yeah, it was really rough going from Yarny, this thing we did before this, you know, this really colorful nature, to this, you know, the achromatized like
get your words straight.
cornfields and the downpour of water and the pig carcasses and, you know, all these industrial environments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a really stark change.
Yeah, but okay. So yeah, so nothing's explained in the game. I think there's like fan theories of how it relates to Limbo, the previous game, but
Mhm.
again,
Heard
these
of
are all
those.
fan theories. I couldn't find anything official, and it seems like they want you to just to kind of, you know, they don't want to explain it. The game studio, they just kind of want you to figure it out on your own, use your imagination, which is fine, but the ending was just, yeah.
Okay, what happens at the end? Explain
Okay,
it.
let's talk about. So you get to like with this lab, this science lab, and they're doing these experiments on these people or whatever. There's just this giant ball of human flesh with like
Mhm.
arms and stuff sticking
Mhm.
out, and you break into that and you become part of the ball, and then you for like the
You
last
control
20 minutes of the game you control the ball and you like break out of the lab, and then
Yeah, you're just this blob with limbs sticking out that's like moaning. And
and then you break out and the game ends, and I'm like,
no, there's still like 20 minutes left of you playing as this
it's a
ball.
little long.
And I think I was with this game and kind of cool with how, you know, it was just very tonal and it was all about mood, and I was fine with that. I knew there
Mhm.
wasn't going to be some big ending, and at that point that game lost me completely.
Oh, you knew there wasn't gonna be a big ending?
Well, how
Like you
can
would have been fine with it?
how can you have, you know, meaning and narrative after playing through just
I guess.
running around? You have to build something up to have
Interesting.
that satisfaction at the end. So I was okay with that, but then I don't like weird, gross things just for them to be weird and gross. And maybe if people are really into like horror movies or really, enjoy that, this game is for them. But I don't like being, sensational and weird just to be weird, if that makes sense. I don't like running around as a disgusting flesh blob. I don't like naked, hairy people, drowning me in the water.
I just don't know what to make of that end. I was just like, the camera zooms out at the end, and you're like
At
this
the beach.
ball of flesh at the beach, and then I'm
'Cause
like,
you're rolling
wait,
down a
that's
hill.
it?
And I thought, as you're rolling down the hill, and it's gonna cut to you jumping down the ledge at the beginning, and it just cuts back to the beginning.
Okay.
But that's not what happened.
Yeah, it's just every review I read was like, it'll be a twist that you won't see coming. And it's like, yeah, I didn't see that coming because I don't know what the hell that ending is.
I actually was more annoyed with this game, but it has nothing to do with the game. It just has to do with the reviews and the things that I was reading about it, because I was trying to find an explanation.
Right.
And I felt like I was back at Nier Automata, which is a game that everybody thinks is just groundbreaking. And I think you can only enjoy if you're a 12-year-old boy who likes girl panties and just discovered philosophy and thinks that this is very profound.
Yeah.
Every single person, like, here's my problem.
10 out of 10.
Playdead is named really clever and admirable for not revealing, for being so ambiguous. And this kind of goes a little bit back to the Wolf Among Us episode, where at the end they just throw random stuff at you, don't explain anything because it doesn't make any sense, and then they're named like geniuses for doing that, And
yeah.
I'm not saying that Playdead is calling themselves that, but the way they got everybody like wrapped around their finger, the way everybody's like, oh my God, this is so profound, and
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't know.
it's just hiding under this ambiguity, and I think everybody's reading into it themselves and making more out of it than there really is.
Right.
Because what your problem was with Kentucky Route Zero is there was no meat in it.
Yeah,
and I'm having that same problem with this game.
I see that for sure. I
You know?
didn't mind being in the world of this game, and Kentucky Road Zero just bored me to hell. I don't know.
Right. And I think for me it's like the opposite.
I get that.
Yeah.
The ending's weird. And then you told me there's a secret ending, which I had to look up, which is also, I hate this kind of stuff. So the only way to get to the secret ending is you have to...
No, please explain it to me.
There's all these like orbs throughout the game that you can unplug. And they have like something to do with controlling all these people. And then, so to get to the secret ending, you have to unplug. You have to find all those orbs. You have to finish the game, and then you have to then restart the game. And there's a secret hatch in the cornfield in the beginning of the game.
That made sense to me. Because there's a board that lights up with all, and as soon as I saw the board, I was like, "Oh, those are all the things I missed." Because I knew kind of in what order I did them, and I knew right away what that meant.
Wait, what board?
You know that big metal orb that you walk into if you collect all of them.
Oh, okay,
There's
yeah.
like a board in the background, and the
Oh,
things are
alright.
lit up
Interesting.
in succession, and also in relation to where they are.
Right.
That part made sense to me.
But
then you have to. There's like a switch. And you have to do like left, right. Like it's just a random sequence of pushing arrows.
the sequence of pushing arrows is like from the hashtag music, quote unquote.
What?
There's music at a certain part of the game, which then corresponds with the arrow.
What? No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, because the solution to this, I looked it up on YouTube, and then somebody commented, the only person with common sense, or at least maybe I'm just crazy. This game makes me feel crazy. The way everybody's like, it's so groundbreaking, and I'm like, it's just grotesque and weird. This person commenting goes, I'm sorry, how did you figure out the arrow
Mhm.
sequence? And the person goes, it has to do with the music. And the person comments, but how did you relate music notes to arrows? And I was with that person on YouTube who never got an answer. Like, I'm sorry, I thought the LA Philharmonic had like notes on sheets of, but apparently it's just arrows.
I don't know. I guess you just gotta figure what arrow is what note, and you
But
figure it
how does
out.
that-
But
How does that
I
make
don't
sense?
know. I hate secret endings like this, where it's like it's the same. What was it in Last of Us, where you're collecting like the dog tags or whatever, and they're just hidden.
We already talked about that.
I know.
though.
It's the same kind of thing. It just drives me crazy. Of
Okay,
just
I
this, like
thought-
who figures this stuff out?
I thought you could explain this to me because my brother's the musical one in the family, and I
Oh
thought
no!
you'd be like,
How? No, of course it doesn't have anything to do with arrows.
Sense?
It's
And
just
why-
you have to
but-
try the arrows and see what note they
but then
are
why
for
is
the game.
everybody like, oh no, this makes perfect sense, and me and the one YouTube guy are the only two
don't know.
people who are like in the dark about this.
I don't know, but maybe there's something wrong with us. I don't know. It's like I didn't even when I looked up the secret ending on YouTube and he opens that hatch in the cornfield. I'm like, I would have never in a million years seen that hatch. Like, I don't know how people figure these secret endings out. I mean, props. I don't know. But
It's just, this game, another quote I have from a review is the 10 out of 10. Like, it's so fiercely intelligent. And these kind of Orwellian, dystopian environments.
right.
Like, I've seen that before. But apparently no one playing this game is like familiar with them. To me, this is not something new or...
Can it be that intelligent if there's not like a
innovative.
straightforward story or ending? I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just
And the interview I was reading with one of the people who worked on this project said that they had no script, they had no meaning, they had no story.
oh well, there we
It's
go.
just really vague, and they kind of were just putting things together. And the whole game
That
is just about
makes
creating
sense.
tone and mood, which I got that. They do that very well. I
Right.
got that right away. To me, I can't build an entire thing around just mood and tone the way
Yeah.
that you can't just build, something around it being artsy and beautiful.
Mm-hmm. That would explain everything. It's just like, we're gonna make this world and you're gonna run through it, because you're really just observing the world. You're just running forward, right?
Exactly. No,
Yeah.
that's a good point. You're not an influencer.
No.
You're just, in this vague atmosphere.
Yeah.
The state control, the really draconian consequences to your actions. And that's what made me think of China too.
Yeah.
Is the I don't know if everyone's aware with the social credit system that they're trying to
God.
install, where you have a credit score based on, do you pay your bills on time, do you jaywalk, do you
Yeah. It's
and
crazy.
it's just camera recognition. That was weird to me, having cameras everywhere.
What
Having cameras everywhere. And
in the
then-
game?
No, in real life in China, in the US,
Oh.
in places that are doing this, and
Oh, yeah.
it's just face recognition, and it's like, oh, we saw you like drop a gum wrapper.
Well, that or they have people with little black books. East Germany. Who will just write stuff down. Like, oh, I saw this person do that, and then it's just weird. It's like a lot of power for one person, it seems like. And if your social credit score goes down just a little bit, you like can't buy plane tickets or
can't
like
escape.
all this other. Yeah, you're like, oh, it's so weird. China, what are you doing?
Well, it's not like other people haven't and aren't doing it.
I know China's just the most extreme of it. Anyways,
I have really nothing else to say about this
I
game.
know
There
I don't have
really
much
is-
either. I wanted to like this game. I just thought there was gonna be some sort of resolution at the end, and just that ending totally caught me off guard. And I was like, "What the hell is this?"
Oh, I have a question. Did you have to turn up your brightness?
No.
Because when I came home and I saw you playing it, I could barely even see the TV, and as I was playing
Really?
it, yeah, I had to turn up the brightness just because the game is very
I
dark.
think you're going blind.
Oh, it's just
Um,
that kind of game. There was one thing I had a problem with that I could not figure out that I had to YouTube. When you're stuck in the elevator and it's drowning and you have to get the door open, you're like lifting the door open to get out.
Yeah.
I didn't see him grab on, and I didn't know. Like I had trouble with the controls. Like I got what the game was trying to make me do, but I for some reason had a lot of trouble. And then people in the comments on that video were also like, "Oh, then like I could not get this open.
Right.
I could not do this."
I think it's one thing when you're making something to be like, here's what I have in mind, and here's kind of the story that I'm trying to achieve, but I'm not going to share that with anybody. You can kind of make your own opinion about stuff. But then when you like read me that quote from the developer where it's like, we're just creating a mood that you're walking through, then it's like, yeah, like I think that gets to the center of the whole problem with this game, where it's like, oh, you don't know what you're doing. You're just kind of building, and like, I'm just putting one Lego block on another one until like it's something, and then we got to wrap this thing up somehow.
Well, I was fine with it until the grotesque thing, because then I was like, you're just taking it over the top. Because if that's your mission, if that's your theme, you just want to create a mood, you know, that if that's your thing, that maybe it just doesn't work for us, but it works for other people.
Sure.
What I have a problem with is people taking that and then, you know, all these reviewers.
It's genius.
Yeah, that to me is a little.
You're a genius.
Far-fetched.
Oh my god.
Because it makes, like, when you're drowning and you think you're drowning, but then it turns out you can now breathe underwater.
Oh yeah, I forgot
and
about
all
that.
the fish are surrounding you. As the player, I had trouble breathing. Like, I was like, oh no, like,
interesting.
it, you know, really puts you in these kind of fearful situations.
Yeah, what was up with that? The like baby drowns you, and then all of a sudden you get like superpowers. Like, I don't, again, and these people don't even know what they're doing. They're like, oh yeah, this is what we're doing next. There's no rhyme or reason to this. It's like blowing up a picture of a tomato soup can. I'm looking at you, Andy Warhol. You're genius.
I don't know. I like those.
I'm just saying. It's like everyone's called a genius these days. It's like, no, the game is fine. The game's cool.
I think it's just coming out from Yarny in the way that game
It messed with you, man.
got blasted for having a story, and then
this
game is just, you know, praised to the high heavens.
Sure.
Yeah, it just I don't know.
Yeah,
My opinion is right.
was-
and everyone's wrong.
What was the guy with Yarny? He's like, it's trying so hard to like
It has feelings.
manipulate you and give you feelings.
But
and
this
it's like,
game doesn't do that.
this game doesn't try anything. You're just there,
And it
like a
makes-
giant flesh blob. Oh my god, full circle. Yeah, I have nothing else to say about this game. I don't hate this game. I feel like we're just dogging on it. I liked it until the end. I didn't mind being the flesh blob like Tubby did for 20 minutes, but then yeah, it would have been nice to have an actual end, I guess. I don't know. That's just me.
So how does this game tie into Limbo? The way people think it
Oh.
does.
God, there was all these weird theories, like it was a prequel to
Yeah,
Limbo.
I saw that, but I haven't played it. So did you? Did
Oh
any of
yeah.
that
So
make
so
sense
the
to
only
you?
thing, Limbo, same thing. It doesn't have much. The only story is that you get separated from your sister and you're just moving along in this world, like trying to find your sister.
Well, at least that's a motive. This game doesn't.
Yeah,
have that.
exactly. So they're saying this. What is this? That this would be like I think a prequel to where you're still trying to find your sister, and that's why you're trying to make it to, well, the people get shipped to this lab, and then, but I don't know how exactly it tied into Limbo. Like if you're, like the flesh blob you're in is the Limbo. It's like another world you're in or something like that.
That is reaching.
I have no idea. There was like weird theories. And again, there's no like official, this is the only thing that's weird is they sell, like you can buy Limbo and Inside as like a 2-pack game, which makes it seem like they're related, right? Like
No, because I'm sure they sell lots. Of
I know,
games
I
in
don't
a
know. You're
2-pack.
right. It just because because the boys look like exactly the same in both the games. They both have kind of the same mood. It just seems like they're tied in, but like I don't think.
And maybe it's just the style of the studio, and that's what they do.
But it's like the boys look identical in both games. I think that's what's thrown everybody off. I don't know, but yeah,
it could just be we've already programmed these mechanics, so let's just use them again. And
we're a tiny little game studio.
not dissing it, just saying how it is.
Yeah, like I don't. Yeah.
This game was just a lot for me.
It was a lot to handle.
It was a lot.
I had to go on a detox afterwards. Yarny detox.
Yarny detox.
Yeah, read all your Buddhist books.
I don't have any Buddhist books.
Oh, you do. You got a Buddhist book from somebody for Chris.
Our father.
Our father.
Sorry, he's always giving us these like Buddhist
Zen,
inspirational.
The Art of Zen.
Or Zen.
By Donald Trump. Yeah, he's a fake Buddhist calling you out. Just because you have a statue in the backyard and read a book every now and again does not make you a Buddhist. I would give. Okay, what would you give this game? I would give it like a 7 out of 10.
That sounds good.
Yeah, like I thought it was a fine game. I don't think it's a work of genius, but I'm in the minority. I feel like I'm in the minority a lot, but that's okay. I'm just a hipster like that.
We're such rebels.
But yeah.
Wow.
All right, let's wrap this thing up. Enough of Inside. You know where to find us. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram at Modern Life Pod. You can email us at modernlifepod@gmail.com.
Also, my brother always says, "We'll see you next week," which
is a lie. It's a lie.
Just say next time. Because even sometimes we'll sit down and do this podcast, and we're surrounded by a million dogs and like contractors. So yesterday, for example, they were just hammering all around us, and we were like, "Well, I guess we're not doing this today." So
that reminds me. Our podcast today is sponsored by people who don't train their dogs, which seems to be all of Los Angeles. Oh my God, we live on this big property, and there's dogs at the front house that are not trained.
There's dogs everywhere.
There's dogs to the right of us, our neighbors.
Dogs.
The hound dogs are not trained. Then we have little yappy dogs to the left of us. They're also not trained.
We have people remodeling their roof. We have people remodeling their garden. We have an actual contractor living in a residence that he's not supposed to run a business out of.
And this is in the nice part of the San Fernando Valley, all right? And then we have more dogs across the way. Like, there's just dogs barking all the time. Nobody trains their dogs. If I was a dictator, I would be like, if you want a dog, you have to get a training certification for if it's a dog in a residential area. Like, I'm so sick of this crap.
No touch, no talk, no eye
contact. It's like you're gonna get a car and not have a driver's license. Like, train just basic. I'm not saying like dog has to be able to star in a Hollywood movie, but just basic training. Like, don't bark at everything.
I can't believe you're talking about my emotional support animal.
Your emotional support cat?
The emotional support peacock that somebody tried.
Oh my God, that was priceless.
Get on a plane.
I'm just over dogs.
On that happy note, we'll see you next time.
Well, let's tell the people. So we're gonna do a Mary Poppins podcast soon, which I saw on Sunday. We're gonna see it together tomorrow. Hint, hint. It was fantastic.
Okay, all right. Cool.
I'm gonna do like a whole.
No doubt.
I'm gonna do a whole Modern Thoughts episode with Stacy, which you're invited to join in on.
We'll
Just
see.
a bunch of stuff I want to talk about.
Excellent.
There was something else we're gonna do. We'll probably end up doing a whole podcast on Chris Pine in the near future.
We're a family of pine nuts. Stacy not included. She doesn't know what we're talking about.
He won the Chris Wars. Let's face it. He's so damn good. My sister's been showing me pictures of Chris Pine for the last day. You're
welcome.
Just every hour. Here's another one.
And Lady Gaga.
And there was something else we were going to do a podcast on that I forgot.
We're very organized.
I don't know. I've been seeing a lot of
Yeah,
movies.
let us know.
There's stuff
Email
going
us.
on.
Post on Instagram if you're like, hey, do a podcast on puzzles.
Also, if you're lost in your life and you want to ask us any questions, be happy to answer them for you.
Because we are Buddhist experts.
Oh, I'm an expert at life. I'm 26.
Modern
I've
life.
mastered the modern life, as you can tell, and I'm here for you. It's the Modern Life Help Hotline. We should start a live hotline for random people calling. Anyways, we got to wrap this thing up.
Bye.
Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you on the next episode.